Welcome to the podcast. Súbele volumen. Conversation with the people who were with me. In the world TV. Carlos tonight. Historias de un reportero. Carlos tonight. Dale que viene lo bueno.
Hey everybody, bienvenidos and welcome to Carlos Tonight. Good to have you. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I do appreciate it. Before we get things started, I want to invite you to check out my website, carlostonight.com. There you can find the latest information on the podcast, see upcoming guests, and check out past episodes. That's carlostonight.com. This week, I want to introduce you to fellow podcaster, author, and a coach who has a new book called A Spiritual Rebel, Enjoying the Heck Out of Life, now available on Amazon. I'm excited to talk to her. Trine Lehmann Hansen, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Carlos. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. First, you consider yourself a life adventurer. Let's start there. Where have you been and what are some of the experiences that stand out?
Well, it might sound more exciting than it actually is because I haven't been out there traveling the world. When I say life adventurer, I mean the life that's going on inside and everyday life and life between us as humans.
And how would you describe that feeling?
To me, that's where the magic's at. In the little things, I guess you can say. My story is spending way too long with stress and depression before I got things turned around. So maybe I have an extra appreciation for, the good things in life, for being happy, waking up, being just excited to get another day, because there are certainly times when that was not the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who go through a lot of stuff who may not see that light at the end of the tunnel. What got you to that point?
I actually got to a point where I got angry and had enough, because all these years, well, my entire life, I guess, I have always been trying to do the right things and be normal and fit in and live up to expectations and all those things that many of us just do without even thinking about it. And that was part of what got me into the stress and depression in the first place. And then at some point I had been struggling for so long, and it felt so unfair because I read all the books and I did the meditations and the breath work and everything. And some of it, I got like a glimmer of hope. And I almost got to the top of my deep, dark hole just to fall back in when it got too exhausting to keep all those things up. So I got angry and I was like, that just can't be the way it is. That just can't be what life's about. So I kind of stopped chasing all those things. And I was like, well, they don't work anyway, do they now? So I was sulking for a while, I guess you can say. But taking that step back kind of, I think it created a space inside me where life could seep in and start to take over. And things just slowly turned around when I returned focus inwards instead of chasing things externally.
Do you feel yourself lucky enough to get to that point in your life?
Oh, absolutely. I also believe that life is meant to be good. So we are meant to get there. I just took a very long time about it. And I don't think it's necessary to end up in that deep, dark hole before we turn things around. I also don't, it's okay that people are struggling. It's not because we're doing something wrong or are not doing well enough, because that whole idea that we should do more, should do better, that's what gets us in trouble in the first place, I believe. So I'm not saying that anybody should, just get up and be happy, because it's not that simple. We would all have done
Yeah,
it.
I know a lot of people are different, but how would you define happiness?
I like to think of it as a whole buffet of good things. To me, happiness is all the positive emotions. So it starts at, that sort of general satisfaction about, I'm in a good place and life is good, or a nice meal, or a good conversation. And then it can be, interest or excitement, or all the way to blissed out and bubbly excitement.
And
So
And I know that a lot of people out there are, no matter what they do, there's always negativity. There's always something that kind of ruins their day. What are some things you suggest that we do to help ourselves be happy every day?
it comes back to turning inwards, I think, because if we let our circumstances hold our happiness hostage, we are in trouble. Because no matter how nice people normally are, they might have a bad day, so your colleagues might not greet you the way you are expecting, or your boss might be shouting at you, or your mother-in-law might be calling, or whatever it is. And I think the trick is to find a steadiness, a stable, unconditional happiness, which of course is not that easy, but we can get to a point where we are less easily rattled by other people and circumstances.
I tend to, if I'm in a bad mood or if something that's bothering me, the first thing I do is think of the positive and kind of switch it around, so that I'm not spreading that negativity around. And it's helped me a lot. Is that kind of what you...
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that way of thinking. And that was actually one of the aspects that I noticed when I was, more consistently feeling good, that one of the things that helped me was turning things around, looking at them from a different perspective, as you say, because one of the things that caused my stress in the first place was being a sensitive person. And, growing up, you're just told, oh, get yourself together and stop being so sensitive. Right. And, oh, you're just dramatic. And so I felt wrong, and I was trying my darndest to fit in and be normal. I had no idea what that actually looked like, because it didn't feel right. So on one hand, that was what I was trying to do. But then there was a small part of me that was just too stubborn to completely, compromise who I am. So it was that struggle between, do I stand up for who I am, which I wasn't strong enough to do at the time, or do I let myself be completely wrangled into whatever box it is that I'm supposed to fit into? And when I realized that my sensitivity was not actually a bad thing, that it has a lot of good qualities as well, empathy and creativity and lots of things, I started to see it as a superpower. That's what I talk about on my podcast, turning our sensitivities into superpowers. So I totally agree with turning things around and looking at them from a positive perspective.
And you've been studying human behavior for a long time, right?
Yeah, all my life, I guess.
Yeah, is that what led you to write this book?
Yes, I think it is. And that's another thing I have noticed, sort of looking back, is that all the little bits and pieces I have picked up through my life, it all fits together, and it's all making me who I am. And all those components or puzzle pieces is kind of what I put together and put in the book.
Awesome. What are some of the things that people will learn or walk away with from picking up your book?
The main thing I hope they take with them is that it doesn't have to be hard work and struggle. I think of it as a very friendly and gentle book in this whole self-development genre, because there's a lot of, I think of it as rah-rah energy. Just get out of bed and do the thing. And again, if it was that easy, we would all have done it. So my book is a way to help people not feel wrong for who they are. And exactly as you said, then I help them turn it around to look at the gifts in whatever it is, no matter if it's like a personal flaw that you feel you have, or it's something about yourself you've always disliked. We can turn everything around if we just find that thing and then not take life too seriously.
How important do you think happiness is in our lives right now?
I don't think there's anything more important, actually, because happy people don't fight each other. Happy people don't start wars. Happy people don't shame others on social media. I mean, if you are a happy and balanced person, you don't hurt anyone intentionally.
It feels like there's a lot of energy that goes into being negative, but being happy doesn't require that much work, right?
No, no, that's the beauty of it. And well, yeah, you say negativity, and one thing I've picked up a lot that I think energizes people is righteous indignation, because you're either, a sheep or a theorist, sorry, conspiracy theorist. And so the lines are drawn up so hard, and both sides feel so righteous about their cause. And sometimes, if you get going, if you read one too many posts on Facebook, you can start to feel that, yeah, they're really this or that, or they should, and why aren't they thinking? And there is a lot of energy in that. But as you say, it's exhausting as well.
Exhausting, yeah.
Yeah. So being a little bit more mellow and looking at the good things and enjoying a good conversation.
Absolutely.
That's so much easier.
Are there any exercises out there that can help us, focus in on that happiness inside of us?
Many people recommend meditation, and I absolutely believe that that's a good practice. And it can be anything. I just think of it as spending a moment with myself. I don't do any particular techniques. It's just stopping for a second and check in and see, where am I at? Am I okay? Is there something that's bothering me? And then breathing and taking it from there. So that's one thing. Ask again, please. What was the question?
Are there any exercises that people can do to bring out that happiness from inside of us? You mentioned
yes.
meditation, maybe
and
writing
then,
some stuff down. I've seen people on like Instagram, they'll write motivational phrases on the mirror and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are enjoying affirmations. Yes. The important thing to remember is that if you stand there in front of your mirror and tell yourself, I'm the happiest person in the world, and there's a little voice in the back of your mind going, no, I'm not, then it's actually counterproductive, because you just create sort of friction inside. So you have to start somewhere that you can actually believe. It could be, I'm going to look for something nice today, or I'm actually doing okay. And then you can build from there until it feels right. It kind of has to feel like a heck yes when you say an affirmation for it to work. So
Great.
Start looking for the good things. And journaling is something that a lot of people favor.
I love journaling.
And then yes, I'm a textrovert. I like to say that I think well in writing. But then I think the most important exercise is to do something that makes us happy. Spend time with people that make us laugh and enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely. What got you through writing this book that you have, A Spiritual Rebel Enjoying the Heck Out of Life?
It was I don't like to say that it was an easy process, because then people just look at me and like, no, it's not writing a book. It's the horrible, hard exercise and experience. And I'm like, I had the idea sort of mid-March that, it would be nice to sort of put some of these thoughts and techniques into something coherent. So I started making notes, and then a couple of weeks later, I found an online book school tool that gave the process. Start with an outline, and then set up chapters, and then do this and this and that. So I did that for another week, and then it said that if you just write 250 words a day, you're doing really well, and then you'll be done with your book in 9 to 12 months. And I was like, no, okay. So I started writing for a couple of hours every morning, and it took me 3 weeks to finish the first draft. Wow. And then I was like, oh my God, this is real. There's at least enough words here for
Fantastic.
A book. Yeah. And then the hard work started, the editing and the grammar and all the fun stuff.
So tell me about podcasting. How are you enjoying it? Is it a weekly show that you have?
Yes, and I love it. I mean, it started as a side passion project, but it's the best thing I've been doing for myself, because I get to speak to the most amazing people every week. And there's something about coming together that way instead of just meeting over coffee, because both sides are aware that we are here to talk about something that's important, something that matters to us. And I think it brings out a deeper layer that I like. So I'm very excited about that. And I have added live talks on Facebook, just on my Facebook page that has about a handful of followers. But I invite people to come talk to me there live and on camera, and anyone who feel like it can join the conversation, ask questions, and be part of it.
What are your hopes for people who come check you out, either checking out your book or your podcast?
The podcast is especially for sensitive people. This first
That's
season. Me. Well, we should just switch this thing around and interview the other way. So that is especially sensitive people who, and that podcast came from talking to a lot of people like me. And one thing we all have in common is that sense of growing up being different and alone. And statistics say that there's about 20% who are to some degree highly sensitive. So feeling alone is just crazy, isn't it? That's 1 in 5. That's 1 in 5. But the thing is that we all think that we're weird and different. So we're keeping a low profile. So it's hard to meet each other.
Right.
And that's what I would like to change with the podcast. Letting everybody who's feeling like that out there know that they are not alone, and that there are so many good things about being sensitive.
And a lot of people have superpowers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think we all do.
How would you describe a superpower?
It's that thing that's so unique to you that no one can replicate it. And I think we all have that. And I think that's what we're here to share with the world. And it can be a weird, crazy combination of things. And it can take a little while to find it. But to me, that's the best superpowers.
That's awesome. So where can people find your book and your podcast?
The book is on Amazon. Just search either for my name or the title. It's as a Kindle version or a paperback. And my podcast is on Spotify, Google, Apple, possibly some of the others I don't know so well. And it's called Talking to Trine. So it should be findable, or people are welcome to come look me up on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to point them in the right direction.
Awesome. Fantastic. It was great talking to you.
You too.
Continued success. Good luck with the book and the podcast. Thank you for joining me. God bless you.
Thank you.
in the world TV. Carlos Tonight, Carlos Tonight. Historias de un reportero.
And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for checking out this episode. It was written and produced by yours truly, Carlos Correa. My theme is by Sken, Galis. You can find more information on the podcast, see upcoming guests, and check out past episodes at carlostonight.com.
Dale que viene lo bueno.